Greetings, greetings. This is Body-Culinary. And today I'm coming to share with you how to get the body of your dreams, the body temple, the human suit that you desire. We all have goals for this car that we're driving around in. And as someone that's been a personal trainer for years, that is a consumer of fitness, it's one of my deepest most therapeutic self care practices. It's deep therapy for me. I'm here to share with you some of my insights, several decades in the industry of fitness as a fitness competitor, doing yoga, hot yoga, yoga certified, kettlebell certified, pre postnatal certified, worked in one of the top gyms, trained as a chef, all of that business. So I quite often think there's a lot of stuff that your personal trainer is not telling you, or that they're not going to tell you in the fitness industry. And that will keep you continuously buying more books and hopping around. And, it's perhaps taking you years to accomplish something that could perhaps take 6 months to a year. So I'm going to share with you some of my insight. For those of you that are new to the channel, and before I forget, do grab your water and a wine glass so you can stay nice and hydrated. And, for those of you that are new to the channel, I'm Body-Culinary, professional chef, personal trainer, natural-born woman, mother, lover of all things natural, or at least as natural as I can get it in the day and times that we're living in. On this channel, I like to share some of my journal of radical self-acceptance, really embracing and celebrating the unique features that I popped out onto this channel. It is a channel, right, onto this 3D earth plane with, for so many reasons, right, for my esteem, for my peace of mind, also for my physical health. I love to share encouragement to cultivate, start to refine a personal movement practice. It's one of the deepest self-administered therapies that I've had in my back pocket for many, many years, and it continues to serve me to this day. I also love to encourage peaceful consumption, and that is consumption patterns, but some would say eating. I would say consumption patterns focused around foods or energy that loves you back. And that's demonstrated by not clogging you up, not leaving a whole lot of waste on your waistline so that your waist beads are all popping off. It's food that loves you back. It loves your cells back. It loves your immune system. It's not clogging. It allows your skin to glow, and for you to breathe, you have skin on the inside too, different types of tissue on the inside. It allows you to breathe and be energetic. So I love to eat for vitality, for longevity, and for mood. See, if we could perhaps try on that perspective, that will help to guide your food choices and your practices. That's for you. So I don't come on here to argue or debate. I just share one woman's perspective, not necessarily the truth, but I have quite a bit of experience, and I'm always open to learning more, even after over 3 decades. So we're going to dive in. Do feel free to avail yourself of resources that are available for you. Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus to fit your budget. That guide to living on whole, fresh, unprocessed foods as a lifestyle, with lots of visuals and a lot of my insight, and just, I'm giving you the lowdown what I've been doing all of these years so it's sustainable for yourself and the family. You can find that on body-culinary.com. Body-Culinary, as well as Natural Beauty, No Products. I'm a person that's had a lot of acne. You can scroll down in the community section and see a lot of hyperpigmentation, cystic acne, the white stuff come out of it. It was not pretty. So I've tried all kinds of products. However, what cleared up my skin so I don't have to wear makeup is the food and my movement practice. So I put fruits and vegetables and things that I eat on my skin, and I don't use any products in my hair, so that frees up a whole lot. So I do share that kind of stuff on this channel. Do avail yourself of those resources, especially if you're not able to get to one of the classes or the workshops. Those things are going to be available as tools and a guide for you. Worth the investment. All right, so let's dive in. How can you get the body temple? How can you refine the body temple? Even perhaps if you've gained and lost a lot of adipose tissue weight and bloat and water retention numerous times, maybe 50 or 100 pounds several times. Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know, how did my body get to where it is now? And you may be feeling the effects, which eventually we do, of carrying a whole lot of additional adipose tissue and weight on the body. It can affect our joints, definitely our mood, our vitality, our organs. Carrying a whole lot of extra additional adipose or fatty tissue can predispose us for the comorbidities. And this was always very pertinent and important. However, we're really seeing many people suffer from having quote unquote underlying conditions, not even quote unquote, really underlying conditions. So our movement practice and the way that we are consuming really is a huge key to our health and our vitality and our longevity and our mood. So I'm going to I'm going to share with you my perspective and insight of several decades of what has worked for me and what I've seen work for clients. So my fitness level can go up and down depending on what type of work I'm doing, my travel schedule. However, there are certain things that are through lines that help me not to have to diet, right? And that's what I call the sweet spot. And also to have movement and physical activity worked into my day. So I don't have to worry about it. All right, so here we go. Ready? You're welcome to grab a paper and a pen. So number one, this is what works. Research has shown that it's worked. I found it's worked for me and other people. Support works. I say this all the time. Create support for yourself. It's like, again, like somebody, I might have shared before. I'm sure I have that. I've watched documentaries of junkies over the years. So if you have an addicted mind, a fixated mind, or you're on one trajectory, I wouldn't trust myself by myself. The likelihood, if I'm physiologically and I'm emotionally and subconsciously wired for certain behavior patterns, then I want to add some education and some support for myself, especially being in the climate of what I would call triggeration, constantly being triggered, right? So support and an accountability partner. A support and accountability partner. Number two, comprehensive education. So quite often, even the little clips and little different things we'll hear inside the bathroom at the gym. We hear all these tips, but however, we may not understand how to put the information into a comprehensive context for us. So I can quite often hear different things that are missing, right? Let's say I'll give you a great example. I've had people underweight, overweight, whether that's 10, 20 pounds or technically morbidly obese. Everyone tells me that they eat healthy. Most people will tell me that they don't eat enough. So there's a reason then if you're carrying 25, 50, 100 pounds of additional adipose tissue or fatty tissue around, it's for a reason. So that means that there's a blind spot. So I do get it. Folks want to tell you, these are the things I've been working on. This is what I'm getting right. We want praise for those things. However, if you're at an unhealthy weight, then there's something that you're missing. There's a blind spot. It doesn't make you right or wrong. It doesn't mean that what you know is not relevant. It does show that if you don't have the results that you want, and only you can say you're there with you in your private moments, then there's something that you're missing. I know for me, that's why I always, even as a personal trainer and a coach, usually I have a coach in my back pocket. So comprehensive education that you can understand, comprehend it, and put it into action. Number three, most of us need to disappear. What do I mean by disappear? So let's say if we're always showing up to do so much work for everybody in the family, everybody in the church, we're on social media, we've got hours of time that is constantly going out to everyone else. That was several hours of workout. That was, or fitness or your movement practice. That was more than enough time to grow something, a couple of plants in your garden or to start a garden. That was more than enough time for meditating and self-care. So many of us need to disappear because we're present for everyone else. We're not present for ourselves. This usually shows up more than often. Not that it's exclusive to women, but this more often than not shows up for women, because a lot of our ego, our sense of worth is tied up in how we show up for other people. So I invite you to consider that's a flawed premise, right? We can have quite an ego or sense of self about serving other people. However, how is that really serving us? Or what kind of message is that giving to our children and our community if we're showing them very poor ill health, or we're on edge because we're not taking care of ourselves, right? So many of us need to disappear. That's what I mean by disappear. We need to disappear, go in, and focus on self. Because the premise, right, of working on and serving everybody else, and I had holes in my shoes so I could provide for you, and I did for you. Or we might be angry at other people because they break out because we put so much energy into them, and now we're angry and bitter, eating 10 pounds of Entenmann's cakes and ice cream because we didn't take care of ourselves. Now our vitality is out of the window. So many of us need to disappear. Hint, hint, cocoon. Number 4. One of the ways that you can get this body temple, this car, this vehicle that you desire, is to give yourself something else to do. So just because we have a great conversation, that doesn't mean the triggers are going to automatically disappear. You may not be able to leave your spouse, your partner, or your job yet. So we need something else to do when those triggers come up. So instead of reaching for the intimates, do you put something else that's attractive in its place? So this is one of the reasons why I love ingredients, and I love to treat myself to all different types of beautiful exotic fruits and new spices that keep me really excited. They keep me really excited about what I'm eating, so I'm not bored, and I have lots of variety. So we need to give ourselves something else to do, something else to reach for, and another activity to do when those triggers hit, right? So instead of going to binge, you could perhaps get into a movement practice, or something really practical that I do is to get into the water and get into a shower. So I love bathing because, some people are like, you can take 2 or 3 showers a day. Yes, I can. Yeah, unapologetically, because that's something that's soothing to me. So I like to find things that work for me, that soothe me, that are not necessarily connected to food. Also, dancing in my movement practice, biggest therapy that is self-administered. I'm not thinking about any kind of food when I'm dancing. As a matter of fact, it makes me very present to the fact that I don't want extra weight and adipose tissue, because then it will hold me back from being fully expressed in my body. So give yourself something else to do. Number 5, grow something. Grow something. I know for years people are like, if you're a personal trainer, why are you constantly telling people to grow something? I'm very strategic. I'm telling you for a reason. I don't ever say anything without a reason. It's so deeply therapeutic and mind shifting for you to be engaged in the process of life, aka growing food that you are going to ingest, that's going to become a part of you. So I could tell you about it, but not until you start interacting or in this particular process will you get all of this, the nuances and the feedback from growing a plant. So at least, even if you're in a small space, something beautiful to look at like a pothos, a vining plant. So I propagate a lot of them. I'll show you one. So I take recycled bottles and I propagate plants. And it's so amazing to be engaged in the process. It can really give you a whole nother perspective on your food. So grow something, even if it's small. Number 6, go to bed earlier or as early as possible. So if you can think about it, we're not immune. It's supposed to be very cognizant and aware, and not to beat yourself up. However, I'm very clear. These screens, these things competing for the real estate of our mind, it's very addictive. It's highly addictive to even be watching things that are terrifying you, scaring you, lots of gossip that doesn't leave you any more enriched. So once you set the intention and to get clear on the cost, right? Because all of your workout time, your food prep time sometimes gets sucked up in this computer, which is one of the reasons why I invite you, again, in that first one, creating support for yourself, perhaps replay these videos while you're doing your food prep, or make a deal. Like I've said to several of my clients, if you got your folks that are going to chit chat with you on the phone, put the headphones on or put the speaker on and chop up fruits and vegetables, for the week as you're talking. as you're chit-chatting. So you really getting something out of it. I got to get something tangible out of our interactions. That's a standard. That's also a bonus one. So if you go to bed as early as possible, instead of taking so much drugs, you are really going to set off human growth hormone. You allow your body to really filter out and process and metabolize waste and all those undigested meals. I've known clients that go to bed super early as the whole family. And so some of the corporate and professional clients, even folks that I've had from different cultures, I'm constantly learning even from my clients. I've had clients, very high powered clients, they and the whole family go to bed at 9 o'clock. So we want something sometimes for nothing. Usually, you'll have to, greetings will have to, it takes something. It takes something. I'm aware of anyone that's telling me I'm going to get something for nothing. That doesn't make sense. And if you want something so precious, why would you think you're going to get something for nothing? That's not even the laws of the universe. That doesn't make any sense. So going to bed super early, maybe perhaps for a while, if you're in the cocoon or you're signed up for the next cocoon, in order for you to get up at those wee hours, you will likely have to go to bed early. But what are you sacrificing? Most of us are wasting a lot of time in allowing our ears and our minds to be a dumping ground for other folks' issues or problems that they're not invested or committed or demonstrate that they're committed changing, or the problems of other people online. If you're not committed to getting into action around what you say you value, then what you doing? Okay, so going to bed as early as possible. Number 7, stress. Some people say stress management. I would say a stress relief practice, which will bring you right back to your personal movement practice. I like to call it vigorous, joyous movement. And I'm being very real with you. As I've said before to clients, you're waiting for motivation. The motivation comes after you do the thing. Right? Number 8, your vigorous, joyous movement practice. Vigorous, joyous. Put some good music on. Put some music that moves you, and you have it set to play as soon as you get out of the bed, or get into movement with some other people that are going to hold you, accountable. And sometimes just doing it in a group of other people can be very inspiring. Right? And so I invite you never to compare yourself to people, to put yourself down. That's dangerous for social media and to your psyche. If I'm looking at somebody else, comparing, so to say, it would only be to see what the possibilities are for myself. So I have always been someone that has looked for women that are going on 80, 90, 100 from a young woman, to see how vital and fulfilled that they're living. So that's the only kind of comparison per se I would do, is I just want to see the possibilities. But there will always be somebody more fit than you, more this than you. That's a waste of time. So I invite you to get your vigorous, joyous movement. Usually music, and set your time. Usually, I think the early part of the day, but if you have to do it later in the day, that's fine. Number 9, this is how to get the body of your dreams. Electric, easy digesting food. Is your food just clogging up your drain, your pipes? Is it clogging up your skin from the inside? Your body, your doctrine of signature is telling you a story. Even if people come to me and say, "Oh, I just started walking, I just started working out." Okay, if that's 2 days or 7 days. If you've been doing something for years, we have to pay the tab to clean up for what we've been doing all these years. It's not going to disappear overnight. That's actually quite a kind of being very entitled to just expect your body to just change overnight. That doesn't make any sense. That's not honest. Okay, so the electric 9 was electric, easy digesting food, and that is nutrient dense. Number 10, real food. When I say real food, it's food that, or energy consumption that your cells can recognize. Your cells can't recognize these plastics and these dyes and these things that are thrown together. Some of them could even say vegan on it, but it's just not real. It's so highly processed that it's not food. It doesn't have any electricity or vitality anymore, but you can put salt and flavoring on it, and it may not have quote unquote meat in it, but it's not real food. So real food shows your body and your cells and your immune system respond to real food. So to get the body of your dreams, right? That was 10, was real food. 11 is consistency. Be consistent. Even if it was 20 minutes or 30 minutes, consistency is everything. Everything. Sometimes you're constantly sore because you don't allow your body to get conditioned because you're just not consistent. Or let's say, like, I've had clients over the years that will do a free session and, but okay, I got a free session. Then they keep doing the same free session. But that's not enough, because number one, your body's going to get used to it if you don't understand sports specificity and how to mix up your workouts or how to be protective of your joints. Invest in yourself so you can get educated and understand how to do movement patterns that are appropriate for your body, keeping in mind your joints, your tendons, your ligaments, so you don't injure yourself. Invest in yourself. I'm not cheap when it comes to myself. The consistency is key. I invite you to use accountability tools. This is part of what we go over in the lunchtime classes that alternate Monday through Thursdays: efficient, effective fitness and common sense nutrition. Cut the guesswork. It's not necessary. How do you think fitness people and bodybuilders and sports athletes, they have a team of trainers, physiotherapists, everybody that is charting out their whole program of exercise for the year. They're off season, they're on season. Why would it be any less for us? So, number 12. Now, is not allowing your valid excuses to have a hold on you. Right? So this could say like you have valid excuses not to get up early and not to move. They're valid. And so your excuses run your life. Again, they're valid. They're valid excuses. So, however, are you going to let the valid excuses run your life and your results? Only you can say. So it's really problem solving. We all have the same amount of hours in the day. Whether you got this budget, that budget. You see folks that are in prison, they got a ripped up body. But you don't need to spend hours. You really don't. In the morning, if you're doing 40 minutes consistently, but the quality and the type of exercise selection is a science. There are a million exercises. You don't need to do all of them. You want to do the ones that are the most efficient for your body and to listen to your body, right? Taking your time and being consistent so you're not going too hard and you wind up hurting yourself, your back or your joints. If you jack yourself up, then you're going to be turned off from exercise and it can really hold you back. All right, so let's get on with this list because this is a big one. I started to put this private, but I said, you know what? Let me put it up for a while so that folks in this community, in this sphere could benefit. Okay, so that was your excuses. So your next one, wow, this is a big one. If you are strict in managing your internet time, you will get the body of your desire. So let's say if you want to watch the internet, as I've encouraged my mom, let's say, for example, I gave her a trampoline, or if you have a treadmill, if you're going to watch this internet time, why not get more bang for your buck instead of just sitting there and your lower back is going to the pot? Make a deal with yourself. If I'm going to be watching these screens, I'm going to be active at the same time. Now, there's certain activities you can do while you're in front of the screen. Other kinds of training, which I love, for example, I am a huge lover of functional training. And I came from a bodybuilding background and an African dance background, but I am humbled by functional training. You don't need a bunch of weights. You don't need a bunch of equipment. And that's what we're going to be doing in Flower Fit in the early part of the day. 40 minutes in, out. So you're going to be strict with your internet time. That's a lot of hours we're losing in front of these screens. If we really, you can even put timers. I've recommended to folks to put a timer on your devices so it will hold you accountable. You can see how much time you've been on the screen. A lot of my different devices will shut down once I've had a certain amount of time on Facebook or the internet. So that will help encourage you, those accountability tools, to be efficient with your time that's on here. And also in terms of being very stringent and accountable for your time on the internet, you can do 2 for 1. Something I've done for years is take these videos, replay it. If you're going to be programmed, right? This brain is highly programmable, this computer. You might as well program yourself with nature sounds or with things that are inspiring or that are supportive to you. So replay this video while you're chopping your vegetables. I'll keep a little company. And while you're doing your movement or your stretching, I've encouraged you, if you look back how to use the internet in this channel, you can keep your yoga mat in front of you. So if you're going to watch this internet and you're going to lose all these hours in front of these screens, get something back out of every interaction and relationship. Okay, so that's with your screen time. That's with your screen time. Woo, this is quite a list. Let's see. Ineffective form, right? So that means you want to be effective with your form. That's going to be education and experience, right? That's also we're going over. If you're not aware or if you've never had a trainer or a coach inside efficient and effective fitness, a lot of times you could be going through the motions and you're not hitting certain body parts, so you're not really engaging the muscle fibers. So therefore, you don't get the development and the tone that you're looking for. So you want effective form, get some education. I invite you to. Let's see the next one. We had 12, 13. Okay, so you're unaware of your portions. You're not aware of, even if that's what I'm saying. I'm not totally attached to the labels. The labels are only distinctions, right? You're not aware that you perhaps are eating enough nuts, was adding up for your calories for 3 days in one sitting. So, or that mocha loca latte that you got from Starbucks that you're eating while you're on the stair mill, you just put back just what you're burning off and more. So your heart may be getting more, your cardiovascular muscle may be getting more fit, but you just put the calories back on that you just worked off. So you're never creating a deficit. Actually, you could be gaining more additional adipose tissue because of all of these calorically dense drinks that you're taking in. And a lot of times while you're on the cardio equipment. That don't make no kind of sense. So you want to be aware of your portions. Again, I hope to see you over in Common Sense Nutrition. Okay, next, you don't have any honest accountability. No honest accountability. Next, if you want to so that means get some accountability, right? Instead of just talking, we're not going to do, in order to get the body of your dreams, accountability tools, they work. And don't count on the addictive part of your mind to keep you accountable. It doesn't work that way. It wants to avoid withdrawal at all costs. It wants to maintain being the same. Okay, next, you're waiting for your friends. So I'm going to invite you, don't wait for your friends. For years, if I would have waited for friends, I would have never learned that I could run to the lighthouse on Roosevelt Island or different boot camps and military. I've had so many fun experiences because I didn't wait for folks. So, after a while, I was like, you know what? Nobody wants to go with me. I'll meet some people when I get there. So don't wait for your friends. Don't wait for your spouse. Don't wait for anybody. Trot your little self on. Get yourself some support. Don't wait for your friends to get in shape. Don't wait for nobody, child. Let's see what's next on the list. Ooh, we had a couple of them. So this is a big one. I invite you to, because I'm not here to tell grown folks what to do. I invite you to use your personal movement practice to process your emotions. So there's that relaxation and contemplation, which can be just a few minutes a day, but also huge. This is one of the reasons why your personal movement practice is huge in your toolbox. Your whole fresh unprocessed foods, your garden, your movement practice. I invite you to use it to process your emotions, right? A lot of stuff is coming up. You can start crying while you're working out sometimes, also depending on the music you have in your ears. Sometimes when you're training like an athlete, it's a whole kind of feeling. It's a whole vibe. You can intellectualize all you want, think about it. You got to be in it to win it. You're not going to really understand, right, if you're not participating. This is a day and age of rumination. Rumination, everybody, what is rumination? Obsessively thinking about without doing anything about it. We ruminate. You're thinking the time you spent looking at the ceiling, you could have been on, had a workout and shower, and been on to your food prep. Hint, 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 cocoon. So what's the other thing? Let's see. Not investing in yourself. If you want to get the body of your dreams, I invite you to be willing to invest in yourself. I've done it. All-star athletes do it. In education, invest in a coach, invest in support, invest in some decent sneakers, invest in creating a space for yourself. Are you going to go to a good surgeon that's free? Some of us will, but sometimes free is not going to be the best quality. I know most of my clients, they're very suspicious of stuff that's free. They're like, no, I want the best person in here. I don't want any injuries. I'm not trying to be an underwear model. I want my body to be pain-free. They want educated trainers, so it's the results that we're looking for. So let me see, is there anything else? Oh my gosh. If you want the body of your dreams, there's certain things that we're doing that are contributing to stress, right? Like you look at the previous video. So I invite you to consider, this may not be a popular one, but I invite you to consider a lot of the energy that we are expending for those intimate relations, to pull them back and to have intimate relations with yourself, keeping yourself out of harm's way. even abstinence. Now, there's a place for those intimate relations. However, if it can't meet a rubric of keeping yourself safe, where you can be emotionally safe, mentally safe, physically safe, where you're choosing the ideal, right? Just kind of think of your life at a 10 and apply your life at a 10 to your food, to your movement practice, also to your intimate relations. And that's something very precious when we're opening our body temples. If we're opening it to, and we're allowing ourselves to engage with folks that are mean-spirited, irresponsible, not accountable, immature, if that's something that we're allowing, that is a big reason why we're not able to focus on our self-care. That's a tremendous leaching of energy. That's a tremendous distraction. It's a tremendous disservice to ourselves. So keeping a protective cocoon around yourself when it comes to, I know in this day and time, it's kind of trivialized, right? Especially if we think of the different types of social media platforms. Many young women, we're encouraged to open up and to give away these energies for a dollar amount. I don't think there's enough money, and I'm not here to shame anyone. However, I invite you to think of what affects you emotionally and mentally. So when we're opening up our orifices as women, not only are we putting ourselves at extreme risk, we have a lot to lose. We're affecting the next generation. We're potentially, if we're not cognizant or intentional, potentially breeding narcissists, right, that create a lot of damage. When you're exposed to a lot of this stuff, you're creating mental, emotional damage. This is what is driving a lot of our eating patterns. This is what is driving a lot of our lack of awareness. We're doing emotional damage, and it's something that is not tangible. So I invite you to harness a lot of that intimate energy and to perhaps redirect that energy and that currency into creativity and into your movement practice, if this makes sense. So let's see what else is on this list. Oh, okay, so we're coming to the end of our list, which is a big enough why. What is your reason? Have you identified your why? And your big enough why, how do you know? Just knowing intellectually, I'm going to tell you, it's not enough. It's not sustainable. But when that why, when it gives you chills or it elicits emotions, then I think that can be the clue that you're on track to your big enough why. Your why will stop you in your tracks. Your why will stop you in your track. Your why will have you dump the whole big bag of organic chips or the Intamins, will have you dump it right in the garbage. Your why is clarity. Clarity and wisdom, not just information, is hard earned. Clarity is hard earned. When you are clear, then nobody can pay you to eat junk. Nobody can pay you to open up your orifices and your precious reproductive organs for unsafe practices or anything that's going to put you at risk emotionally or mentally. When you get clear, clarity is worth its weight in gold. So I think that brings us to the end of our list for today. Yeah. Okay. And here I'll say here's the bonus. I invite you to watch only and do a check-in on what you're watching. Maybe perhaps if you are a stranger or somebody and you are checking in to see everything that you're ingesting, take a moment to notice, how is it making you feeling? If you feel irritated, if you find yourself munching, mindlessly, check into how certain things are making you feel. And then perhaps notice the things that motivate you to I'm ready to work out. I'm ready, as it's motivating me to organize or to clean or to organize my vegetables and clean out my refrigerator. All of these things, we're processing instructions. Everything that we're taking in is actually a type of instructions that the mind, right? The mental activity of the brain is processing instructions. So I invite you to consider watching things and ingesting, right? Because there's the physical food, but the food you're ingesting with your eyes. Invest in consuming things that motivate you to get in action, that inspire you, not just intellectually, that inspire you to get into action. So this is Body-Culinary. I really wanted to come on and share this with folks. I think perhaps it can be valuable. Let me know if you found any of these things helpful or valuable. I invite you to join me in the early day, right? To hit it and quit it. There's nothing more precious than my therapies. And that's my movement practice. That's growing something. And that's what I'm feeding myself. I'm crystal clear. I don't know everything still after several decades, but certain things I am crystal clear on. They give me a consistent result. Certain things will break my skin out every single time. Certain things are going to leave me totally unfocused. So only you can get clear. So again, do feel free to pick up the guide if you're not able to get to class or to get into a private session with me. Whole Living Foods in the Hood Part 1 with menus to fit your budget. And also if you're dealing with your skin, natural beauty, no products, only food. And I invite you to take on perhaps being like 110% responsible for your health. The only one that has a vested interest in your health is you. You on your own. You're looking for a savior, look in the mirror. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, comment respectfully. In that section, I don't have all the answers. This is one woman, one trainer, one chef's perspective after about 30 years in the industry of food, nutrition, and fitness. So I'm inviting you all to create a great day on purpose. Just because you said so. Check out Body-Culinary on Instagram. Kwasapeacefull with a K, peaceful eating, like full belly on TikTok. Oh, and get on the mailing list if you want to know about the classes, because I can only be on social media, but so much. Hopefully, if you're on the mailing list, you'll notice a lot of stuff that's coming up. Some of them will be, I'm going to let it all out of the bag. But if you're interested in getting to your movement practice, a lot of stuff is not going to be on here. There's some another platform that I'm going to be using for a lot of the meetups. You're welcome. Also, weight speech training is coming up. The 3-day fast is started. The goddess cakes is going to be, the raw vegan cakes are going to be online. We're going to be gardening on Saturdays and going into some practices for food preservation, growing food, and food security. So I like to really think before I put something out there as an offering. All right, y'all, create a great day. See you soon.